What's going on YouTube? This is Jabber Tech, and today we're taking a look at the MeshForce Whole House M3 AC1200 Wi-Fi system. True story, before we get into the unboxing, I actually picked this up for my mom because she called me up and told me that YouTube is buffering a lot. Netflix, Prime Video, all of her streaming apps are buffering, and the quality is just not as good as it used to be. Well, I took a look at our old router and figured, you know what, it's time to get you a mesh system, but I didn't want to break the bank with it. I also wanted something that was simple to set up, and I wanted something with remote access. So if I did have to troubleshoot from afar, I'd be able to do that. Well, the MeshForce system covers about 6,000 square foot. It's only about $180. Check my link down below if you want to check it out. And I also like the fact that all of the satellites have gigabit Ethernet, meaning you can set up a wired backhaul, or you can also use these as a bridge. But let's go ahead and check out the MeshForce M3 together. We're going to do some speed tests and just check it out together. So the main specs before we go ahead and unbox it, this is an AC1200 system. You can get a total of 6 points, so if you really need to expand it, if you live in that mansion, you can go ahead and get some more points. But I think for most people, 3 points is probably more than enough, and covering 6,000 square foot is definitely huge in my opinion, more than I'm actually going to need here in New York City. So here's the manual. We'll take a look at that later, quite possibly. This is what you get inside the box, and I actually like the way the MeshForce system looks. It's very attractive, it's very modern looking in my opinion. You just have a little company branding right on the front. What I also like about the M3 system is that each of the points actually has a WAN and LAN, or a LAN as well, meaning you can connect a wired backhaul to this if you need to. You can also use this as a bridge, so you can connect wirelessly, but then connect to your PS4, connect to your laptop, connect to your computer, anything that maybe you want to have a wired connection to. And if you're not using a wired backhaul, you can actually have 2 gigabit LAN ports. So I think that's something really cool. I think that's something very useful to a lot of people. If you take a look at all the points, you have the same exact features on all of them. Again, this helps the M3 stand out from the competition. I think they did a nice job. I actually like the way the MeshForce system looks. I think they do a very nice job. It's a modern design, and I think it looks pretty cool. Now, one thing you will notice is that there is an LED right on the front here. I kind of wish they made an LED strip right around the top. I think that would be something super awesome and just look a little bit better. But as it is, it's a nice modern looking system. It's something that you can hide if you need to hide it because it's not that big. The app that you have to download is called MyMesh, so go ahead to the App Store, whether it's on iOS or Android, download MyMesh and we'll be good to go. I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to do the installation process with you. This way, when you get it, when you purchase it, you'll know exactly what to do. So all you want to do now is go ahead and open up the MyMesh application. Once you open up the app, you're going to have to grant it some permissions. Grant it access to location. I usually say only when I'm in the app. And media files, I decline to do it, and it still works perfectly fine. Now the first thing you want to do is you just want to log into the MyMesh system just by logging in to the Wi-Fi SSID. That's on the bottom of your point that you're trying to connect to. Once you go ahead and do that, it's going to pretty much do everything for you. This is a plug and play type of solution. It's going to figure out what type of connection you're on, so it'll do everything in the background. Very, very fast and simple. Finally, the next thing you want to do is set up your own Wi-Fi SSID. So name it whatever you want all your devices to connect to. Once you do that, put in your password, and again, click on next. It's going to do everything for you. Again, the process is so simple. It's just silly how simple it is. Once that's all done, you can add more mesh access points if you want to. That is also simple. You don't have to go and scan any code on the back. Just power up the satellites and make sure they're within range, and if they're in range, they'll go ahead and connect to them. I've only connected one router as of this point, so we're just going to go ahead and do the setup process, and you can see the current download and upload speeds right at the top there. I think that's really awesome as well. Clicking on MyMesh, you'll be able to see what the connection strength is. You can also assign it a location if you want to differentiate where each point is. You can go ahead and do that. You can change whatever the name of your wireless network is at any point in time. You can just click on that wireless tab. You can also set up a guest network if you want to set up a guest network, and you can also assign a time limit for the guest network to be there, to be active. Going into quality of service, I like this option because if you have a lot of devices connected to it, you really want the router, you really want the mesh system to go ahead and really prioritize that traffic. So enabling quality of service will do that, and you have to put in what your current speed is. So my current speed is 200 down and 20 up. There are also some parental controls, so for those of you that have kids and want to really limit the access to their To their internet usage, you can select their device. So for right now, I'm just going to select my own V40 and just show you what some of the options are. You can automatically suspend the service if you want to, or you can add a period. Say when it's bedtime, you don't want them waking up in the middle of the night and trolling the web. You can go ahead and ensure that during that time period, they do not have access to the internet. So again, I think that's something pretty cool. Next, taking a look at an option called fast roaming. I usually just leave this on. It just means that your devices will be able to quickly switch between the access points. If you do have over 30 devices, enable capacity oriented mode as well. Now, one thing about the MyMesh system is that you do not have separate 5 GHz and 2.4 bands. It's all into one. But with this smart assistant, if you do have some smart plugs that really just run on 2.4 GHz, go ahead and enable Smart Assistant. It'll make sure that it's only broadcasting in 2.4. This way you can connect all of your devices and everything will work smoothly after that. Even when the 30 minutes is over, those devices that you've set up will remain on the 2.4 GHz network. So again, that's something cool for your smart lights and whatnot. The next option that we have is port forwarding. If you need to add a rule, you can go ahead and do that again. This is probably not what most people will have to do. But if you have cameras, if you have any type of system like that, and you need to ensure that it is accessible via a certain point, you can go in and set up some rules for that port forwarding. The next option you have as well is UPnP. That's just enabled by default. If you like to switch up your DHCP server, you can go ahead and create your start point. Let's just do a speed test really quickly, and I'm going to show you here. I get about 200 down and 20 up. Now I'm going to just show you the speed test. This is a speed test without the satellite connected, where my mom's TV is, and you can see the download speed just is not that great. But after I connected that satellite, you can see the speed is greatly improved. I got about 130. Again, out of 200, I think that's really good considering that this satellite is placed about 30 feet away from the main router. So that is a very, very good connection. With all of these mesh systems, the closer you put the satellite to the main router, the faster your speeds will be. After checking out the speeds, after seeing how easy it is to set up, this is something I can highly recommend. Again, this is a very simple way to install Wi-Fi, to install a mesh system in your house. It's perfect for someone that really doesn't need a whole bunch of advanced controls. Now, let's be honest, most of us don't really need to do that. If you're looking for a system that's just really a plug-and-play solution, MeshForce M3 is the way to go. Again, this is a very versatile system. This is something that you can connect an Ethernet backhaul to and really get great speeds wherever you are. But the whole point of a mesh system is to have the satellites talk with the main router. And the M3 did exactly that and really blanketed my mom's house perfectly well. I'm satisfied. I'm really happy with this. If you don't need a whole bunch of advanced features, if you just want plug and play, you just want a simple solution, this is the way to go. But let me know what you think about the M3 system down in the comments below. As always, I really appreciate you watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.